The war in Israel lays heavy on America after news broke Saturday. Israel under attack by Hamas. The world watched as Hamas fired off airstrike after airstrike. What was happening on the ground would stun those who watched video after video of innocent civilians tortured and taken. The war in Israel is top of mind for Americans. You can see it in the nation's tone. There is grief, anger, and a need for accountability. Thousands of lives have been lost in the bloodshed, at least 150 taken hostage. The news media have shared with you some of the personal stories of victims' families, stories of pain and suffering that remind Americans of the human element behind the body count. We'll share with you just a few of the faces that remind us of the horrors that come with war. Take a listen.
We found Emily. She's dead. And I went, yes! I went, yes, and smiled. Because that is the best news of the possibilities that I knew. She was either dead or in Gaza. And if you know anything about what they do to people in Gaza, that is worse than death. That is worse than death.
She's so gorgeous. She's so beautiful. She's so full of life. And she was talking to me and saying, "Mommy, help us. We don't know what to do." And I'm on the phone with her. And I'm saying, "Mommy, we love you. It's okay. We're trying to find a way to take you out of there."
I want to go back to Friday. You know, I want to close my eyes and was all a nightmare. There's a 9-month baby and a 3-year-old child, and my aunt has Parkinson's disease. I don't know if the baby was fed. I don't know if he got his diaper. He doesn't eat much food, you know, normal food. He needs his formula still.
And I could hear 2 or 3 people speaking in Arabic outside the door, getting in. And my youngest, who was only 12, saying to them, "Don't take me, I'm too young." And that was it. I want these children and women and babies back home, and I want my children back home. I want them to fight each other. I want them to annoy each other. I want them to get on my nerves again. I want them back.
And while a time of tragedy tends to bring people together, because of the complicated and politicized environment in this area of the Middle East, there is a growing sense of anger and division in America. The social media landscape is demanding users to pick a side. There is pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian, calls for ceasefire and blood for blood, those condemning the attacks and those refraining. While there are 2 sides on many fronts, there is bipartisan agreement in America's search for accountability, with eyes on Iran and the terrorist organizations the regime supports. Iran's role in the war remains undetermined, but there is enough suspicion over the regime's hand in helping Hamas that Republicans and a growing number of Democrats alike want to refreeze the $6 billion in Iranian assets that were made available as part of a U.S. prisoner exchange. The Biden administration has signaled not $1 of that money has yet gone to Iran, and it's meant for humanitarian aid. But critics argue money is fungible and could have emboldened Iran and its Middle Eastern allies, which includes Hamas. President Biden told Iran on Wednesday to be very careful and has warned other nations hostile to Israel not to intervene. What is next for America? Help is on its way to Israel, and Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the U.S. is working to find the hostages taken by Hamas.